Okay, now Mr. Manishinde has asked some very pertinent questions, and Vikas Singh, he's listening in now. I want you to respond to them one by one. First and foremost, his contention that your clients, the family of Sushant Singh Rajput, was most proximate between the time his client, Rhea Chakraborty, left Sushant's house and Sushant's death. Therefore, he is asking for the CBI to expeditiously call your clients, Sushant's sisters, to be questioned about their involvement in the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. How do you respond to Mr. Manishinde, Mr. Vikas Singh?
Well, as far as responding to Mr. Manishinde is concerned, we are used to responding in court, not on channels. So that is not something I'm going to comment on here today about what our stand is going to be. So let that remain some other day, some other place, some other venue. Not on your channel, Rahul.
No, but Mr. Manishinde also asked very important questions, Mr. Vikas Singh, about how suddenly, after having demanded that there be a CBI probe, the family of Sushant Singh Rajput seems to have lost faith in the CBI, and you're raising questions about the CBI. He says Rhea Chakraborty, his client, has never once questioned either the CBI or the courts. Why is it that your client, Mr. Vikas Singh, has suddenly lost all faith in the CBI, or at least you're questioning the delay of the CBI? What's your problem with the CBI's probe, Mr. Vikas Singh?
Well, Rahul, now that the question of CBI is concerned, in fact, Mr. Manashinde's client was, saying openly that she wanted a CBI probe, but when the matter was argued in the Supreme Court, her lawyer never once conceded that it should go to the CBI. Never once. I don't know whether Mr. Manashinde was tuned in for that hearing or not, but he never once conceded that this. So that's the real double standard. As far as we are concerned, we didn't want CBI initially for the simple reason that we thought that in so many important cases that CBI is handling, our case will get lost. But when the Patna police was obstructed from investigating, we realized that probably we don't have a choice, so we have to go to the CBI. Now our original fear appears to be coming true, that our case is getting lost in the CBI because suddenly our case has got very low priority, and priority is shifted to other cases. So that's a completely consistent stand, Rahul, unlike the stand of Mr. Manashinde's client. So please don't try to put it the other way.
Can I argue, Mr. Vikas Singh, and play devil's advocate, which you like doing so often, that maybe this isn't a low priority case for the CBI? This is about as high priority as any case in the public eye has been. And maybe, and that's not something that you'd be particularly happy about, the CBI hasn't found any evidence to substantiate the theory of murder, which some TV channels have been crying themselves hoarse about, and your contention that this is a case of abetment to suicide. Maybe there is no such evidence, and therefore the CBI doesn't have anything to please you in its final findings, which is why you and your clients are now unhappy.
Well, Rahul, CBI is not meant to please anybody. That's first thing. And you must have this very, very clear on your show, and you must also understand this. They're not meant to please anybody, whether it be me, whether it be anybody else. Their idea is to go for an investigation. And as far as I am concerned, I am not pleased with anything. I'm only wanting the truth for my clients. So if there is no murder, supposing if there is no murder, although that question does not arise today because the meeting between CBI and the forensic team has not yet taken place, and that is the real grievance, that why is that meeting not taking place? It's only after that meeting that they will be able to take a call whether it is murder or abetment to suicide. But even if it is not murder, abetment to suicide, case will definitely continue. And for that also, the fast track will have to take place of according to me, custodial interrogation of the players, and that is getting delayed.
No, so instead of me imputing motives, let me just ask you a direct question. It's been more than 2 weeks since the CBI team and the AIIMS team came back from Mumbai. They haven't yet met despite being in the same city and despite that meeting being planned for last Tuesday. What, according to you, Mr. Vikas Singh, is the reason behind the CBI team of interrogators, investigators, and the AIIMS' forensics team not even having a basic meeting? Why do you think that's happening?
Well, that is what I told you, Rahul, at the very first when I started, that we were expecting that CBI will not give so much of importance to our case, and that is what exactly is happening. So somehow they don't have the time to do this kind of a meeting to take this case forward. Then obviously it is a low priority case, unlike what you are claiming it to be, that it's a very high priority case for the CBI.
Mr. Vikas Singh, Mr. Vikas Singh, no, one second. just stay with me for a moment. You're saying this is a low priority case. This is the one case that's been covered wallpaper across TV channels. How can this be a low priority case? Maybe
on the basis of what you told me, Rahul, that they have been here for 10 days and not having time to meet. I'm going by what you told just now, that they both have been here in Delhi and they don't have the time to meet each other. Then I'm going by your statement that it is a low priority because they don't have the time to even discuss this case.
In the manner in which you're hoping to leave this discussion, Mr. Vikas Singh, so quickly,
this meeting should have taken place.
Can I argue that it's Mr. Satish Mani Shinde who seems more calm right now, relaxed and listening in? You're seeming slightly more edgy. If this was about which counsel seems more assured about his case and more confident about winning it, at least in the public eye, is Mr. Satish Mani Shinde winning just at this moment in this argument? Would you concede that, Mr. Vikas Singh?
I don't mind conceding to Satish Mani Shinde. He's a dear friend, so no issue of winning a debate on TV. If he wins the debate on TV, I'll be equally happy, or rather happier.